hear me?
Yes, bro. Erase okay, see.
Live already.
All right,
How
let's
are you
go.
doing, Mr. Yinka Olorunkosebi?
I'm fine. Good evening, ma. Good evening.
We are live.
Hi, good evening.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Or it's, I don't know, it's a little bit low. I can hear you, but it's low.
Okay, but I can hear you clearly.
Okay, it's okay then. I think I can hear you too now.
All right, fantastic. So, you welcome everybody. Welcome to Healing Conversation with Patricia Abokede. This is a program where we discuss parenting, child protection, and healing from trauma, and as well preventing trauma. And today we are discussing something very, very important. Every parent needs to be part of this conversation. We are talking about emotional abuse and parenting. This is something that many of us as parents overlook. We don't take it seriously, or we don't even know that we sometimes emotionally abuse our children. And like we have been having conversation on this program, we have discussed a lot about childhood trauma, about child abuse, and how to prevent it. So today we are having someone very amazing, somebody very important, and he's joining this conversation with us today. His name is Chaplain Major Olayinka Olorunkosebi. He's an officer under King Service Chaplaincy International. um, he's an astute communicator and educator with several years of experience working across schools, broadcasting stations, and film, as well as humanitarian and social service development space. He has won several awards and recognition for his engagement well, and his family is growing. So, Mr. Lauren Koshebi, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Auntie Pat, the advocate.
All right. You may need to position yourself very well. We can't see your face properly. You are too close
Wow.
to the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see it now? Is it okay now?
So, in our previous discussion before this program, thank you. We have some people joining us. Fatima, you are welcome. So, thank you for joining this conversation. I would like you to engage. So, if you have questions, you can drop, and you have contributions, let us know. And also, want to know where you are connecting from. Let us know where you are connecting from, so that
Let's go.
we would, recognize it properly. So, we are talking to Nigeria, and we know that this program reach different people from different parts of the world. All right. So, Mr. Olaran Koshebi, before we started this program, we have had a lot of discussion. I've known Mr. Olaran Koshebi
Yeah.
for many years, and is a very, very vibrant man who is very passionate about children. So, we were talking about how emotional abuse affects children. And I remember you once told me that you have experienced emotional abuse. It seems you're not hearing me clearly. You are a bit too close to the camera.
Okay. I think it's
This that's better.
okay.
That's
Okay.
better. The way you are seated,
All
that's
right. Okay. I
better.
think it's better this way.
Yes,
All
better
right.
that way. Fantastic. So, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. I can now. I can.
Fantastic. Great. Great. So, before we started, when we've had several conversations, and I was asking you sometimes ago, have you ever experienced any form of child abuse and all of that? You said yes, that you have, especially emotional abuse. So, I would like to know that, I want you to share a bit of your experience with us. Many people think comparing children, especially comparison. So we are looking majorly on comparison because there are several forms of emotional abuse. We have name calling, we have comparison, we have, sarcasm, and so many other ways parents emotionally abuse their children. So I want to ask you, many parents think comparison is harmless. You're comparing a child to another child. Maybe a child is very good in arithmetic, or is good in house chore, and the other person doesn't is not that good. Or you are comparing their beauty, or something. You know, there's a way parents jokingly say these things and they don't know it really matters. Sometimes they even think it's motivation. So can you briefly share with us your childhood experience of being compared with others? Can you share it briefly? How what happened to you that childhood experience that you share
Well,
with me? Let parents
yeah,
know.
thank you very much for that question. When I was much younger, I noticed I was not doing well academically. And then, of course, I got the beating of my life anyway. That was the starting point. And coupled with that, I also got names because at that time, my younger ones were doing pretty better. They were doing pretty well academically, comparatively. And I think at a point, my folks were like, "We expect more from you, but you're not doing as much as we expected." So I got beaten. I was called names. I mean, a lot of things were said about me. Let me say this one subject. Then over time, it was discovered that I had a little bit of short sightedness. I don't know what you call it. I was not seeing the board very well. But before that was discovered, I was beaten. I was beaten at home, I was beaten in school, I was beaten everywhere I could be beaten. So after that was discovered, they began to find a way to correct it. Okay, let's get in the glasses and everything. But before then, I was called names. Names like you're not like them. I don't want to say you're not like them. Look at your juniors, look at your younger ones. You are the older, you should do better, and things like that. I know it really got to me as a child. But you see, like when we were young, as children, when we were young, you don't question your parents. You don't tell them they don't know what they're doing. So I took it in hook, line, and sinker. I was feeling the pain, and after the sight issue was corrected, I was still struggling a little bit academically. But then gradually I began to change over time. But my parents did all they could to give me all the best investment they could as far as getting the best teachers was concerned. But then for those formative years, it was a bit tough. Until gradually I began to pick up. But sincerely, yes, I suffered name given. You are not like them. Look at you, as old as you are. You don't see your age and stuff like that. And it really got to that. And like I was telling my wife recently, I said, but for the grace of God, I probably could have taken it up on my younger ones. Because it was not just my younger ones, even friends. I mean, like you said, it was not because they meant the elders, I want to use the word elders, meant to hurt, but they wanted something that will pain you so that you get corrected. That was the purpose. But then, of course, like you said, it was damaging gradually. And for some of us, I would say it's the grace of God that some level of passion and consistency that got us out of it. Some people actually died because some people committed suicide. But I think that was my story. Let me just allow you to ask more questions.
That's fantastic. I remember some times ago, my son wasn't seeing the board clearly. He comes home, he's writing, you can't even read what he's writing. You can't, and he wasn't doing very well. I had to actually go to school and find out. We have to change his position several times. So several times with what you just said now, many children, especially that are not doing well academically, maybe going through health issues that has not been discovered. And this also goes to teachers who just assume a child that is not picking up well in class is not smart. And I always wonder why, what is the relationship between a child not getting, for example, you gave a child assignment and the child did not pass it, and the next thing you do is you start beating the child. Please, what is the relationship between beating the child and the child not knowing a subject? Is it really, can you say something about
Well,
it? Because we have teachers, we have parents that are watching this program. So a child, you gave a child a subject, child did not know it. Is it beating that will correct that child, or it means that the child did not understand it and you are supposed to repeat or teach again? What do you have to say about that?
well, like I said, during our formative years, I remember myself and you once had this conversation years ago, and you made me understand that most of the beating was done out of frustration. So I think when we were young, our elders, let me say our elders, our parents, were frustrated that we were not doing well. So they felt the beating. I know, there's a way we quote that Bible scripture, and madness is in the heart of a child. You need the word of correction to drive that, which is true. But you see, the rod of correction also has definitions. So I think that was what happened. So we felt the beating. I remember there was a day my dad beat me and he was quoting the scripture. He was such a good, and I was replying. He was quoting out, and as we were quoting, the beating continued. I mean, it was a serious one. So I think what happened then was there was a little bit of, I think they expected too much from us. They felt they invested and they expected more than what we were able to offer. So the beating came. So I think moving forward, as a parent need to learn that number one, there's this thing that fingers are not equal. All children are not the same. And you see, children learn or transform over time. So what you need to do is understand that this boy is not the same as this boy. This girl is not like this girl. So let's understand what works for them. I really believe most parents in our day didn't really have that patience. And I'm afraid, I hope the parents today are willing to pay the price for that patience. Because you see, at the end of the day, if you learn to understand what each child is all about, they will turn out well. It's just a matter of understanding them. You don't use the cane because it got to a point the cane make got us hardened. Well, the beat is just beating. And beat me and die now. Beat me and let me die now. And if I don't die, I just continue. So I think it's expedient that parents understand that yes, children do things that are not right. But then the first thing is not beating. Understand what the problem is. Then you know what measures to apply. That's what I suggest.
That's very important. Parents need to understand their children, because parents, sometimes some children are actually going through some problems. They are going through
Mm,
maybe health problem,
mm,
and we need to discover, not just beating. As much
mm,
as
mm,
this is a very debatable topic in
mm.
Nigeria or in
It
Africa.
is.
Some parents are
Mm.
still struggling with this
Not to beat.
don't beat a child. And
Mm,
like you also said about that scripture thing, we are quick, quoting some scriptures that so I have a question in the have you ever been beaten for not passing or not getting your for failing or something? So I want the audience to share their experience. Have you ever been beaten
mm,
for not passing
mm,
your subject or for failing a particular subject before? We would like to know, you hear your experience. Want to know because I am not sure if I had that experience, but I know a lot of people get beaten for not passing. In fact, teachers do it a lot, parents do
yeah.
it a lot as well. And it doesn't always mean that the child will understand what you are saying. Most times the child even feel, oh, I'm a different child from other children because
Mm,
somehow you are naming that child, labeling the child. So what I feel that is most important is when you feel that your child is not doing well in school, first of all, you find out, is that child going through any health issues? Is
mm,
the child being bullied in school, or are there things that is affecting that child that is making that child be academically
mm,
sound? Sometimes the teaching method too can be affecting the child. Maybe the
mm.
teacher is not teaching the way
Well,
the child will
yes.
understand, because there are several
Mm,
ways children learn. So if you are using a particular method for all the children, some children may not understand well. So
mm.
it's very important for us that
Sorry.
um,
I, I want to say something about the teacher's aspect that you mentioned. I
okay,
really
yes.
celebrate my mother. I really celebrate her for that because there was at the time I was attending a school that looked like what you call, let me say in quotes, the Ivy League school. I mean, a school everybody will want to belong. You don't want to leave that school. But then I did not know that my mother was seeing beyond what I was seeing. She found out that because she's a teacher, I mean, she trained as a teacher, she's an educator, and she felt the amount they were paying for my school fees compared to result coming in was not good enough. I wasn't doing well, but she felt there was something wrong with this. So, because she would look at my notes and see the way we were taught and everything. One day, my mother just came and withdrew me from that school. I took me to a public school. Of course, somebody told me to my face, a friend of mine said, he said, Ika, is it that your parents cannot afford the school fees? That's why they took you away. I mean, that was like a slap. But then, as at that time, I could not tell mommy, why would you take me from that school? You want me to feel lower than myself? But guess what? It was when I was taken to the public school that the transformation really came for me. That was when the shift came. So I think at times, um, it's expedient that parents also take some action. They need to take some decisions because when I left this Ivy League school in quotes and I came to this public school, I was forced to rethink my ways. I was forced to sit down and say, okay, yes, maybe something was wrong with the way they treated me, but is there something I can do to correct myself as well? And the story changed. So I really agree with what you said. I agree with what you said.
All right. So as a child, how did you those comparison make you feel about yourself? What thoughts did you begin to believe about yourself or your self-worth as a child? Did those experience that comparing you with your younger ones that and then going to school to a lesser school, how did it make you feel? Did it affect your attitude? Or what were the thoughts that were coming to your mind as a child at all?
Ah,
Do you remember anything?
there were terrible thoughts. You are not good enough. You are not, you are useless. Now, they didn't say that, but those are the thoughts. You are not measuring up. Is it the likes of you they are talking about? Let me give you an instance. I remember when I was in primary school, and you know the primary school I went to. I was, then about that time, they wanted to stage a playlet. So they called a few of us from my class to come to the other class. And then I was asked to do it to just act a scene, which I did. You know, they didn't correct me. They didn't say I was right. They didn't say I was. They just said go back to the class. And as I went back, honestly, what came to my mind?
Okay, we lost you at a time. Yeah, go ahead.
That I was one person that would
We
not do that. He
hello,
knows very well that I
we
was not
actually lost
qualified
you.
to do any of such. So for me, yes, name given, beating, and the likes of them back then really made me feel inferior, less of myself, not important, bad, can't do anything. Yes, those were the thoughts. Those were the thoughts.
Yeah. So, I've had a conversation with some parents sometimes and they say they'll forget about it. They're just children. They'll forget about it over time.
Hello?
Is it? Can you hear me?
I can see you. I can't hear you. I'm trying to hear you. Hello?
Okay, it's network. I also lost you at a
Okay.
time.
Hello, ma.
So is it clearer now? Yes. Can you hear me? Is it clearer now? Okay, so I was saying that sometimes parents will think, oh, child will forget. Okay, you are back. Can you hear me now?
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me
you.
now?
Sorry. I can hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, it's network. Sorry about that. So is it better now? Is it better now?
I can hear you.
Oh my god. So what do we do now? Let me check my internet. Okay, so is it better now?
Can you say something? Just say something, ma.
Okay, I'm talking actually. I'm talking.
I'm not hearing you well. I don't know what's
Oh
going
my god. So I was saying that sometimes parents will say that, oh, this is a child, he will forget it. They'll forget whatever it is. So how true is that? That the child will forget the abuse or the trauma that have been caused. Do you think it's really true, or we need to be very, very careful how we compare children and you know name call them? What do you want to say about that? Okay, can you hear me now?
I can too. I can.
Wow. So what do we do?
I like it.
Um, is it clearer now? So I would like to know our audience. Can you hear us? Can I get a feedback from you? What have you learned
I'm
so
not hearing
far?
that.
What
So I'm seeing you, but I'm not hearing, honestly. I'm just hearing it faintly. I'm hearing it faintly.
Oh my god. So I was saying, can you hear me now? In fact,
No,
you're
I
actually struggling
can't.
to hear me. I
I
can see
can't
that you
hear
are
you. I don't
struggling
know
to
what's
hear
going on.
me. So is it clearer now?
I didn't hear you.
Is it clearer now? Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you faintly.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Okay. So I was asking a question. I'm
Mm,
actually trying. I'm actually
my
shouting.
God.
I was asking that. What do you have to say about parents who think the child will
I'm hearing
forget
it.
whatever they happened to them as children? What do you have to say about that? You can hear me?
I can't. I'm just hearing you faintly. Oh my God.
Wow. It's actually network.
Mm.
So I was asking that what do you think about parents who assume the child will forget about the abuse? What do you have to say about that?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
What do you have to say about parents who think the child will forget about the abuse or the trauma the child that has been caused the
Uh,
child? What do you think have to say about that?
Hello? Can you hear me, ma?
I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear me?
clearly, very clearly.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
I'm
clearly.
hearing you say, sorry, I'm hearing you say that. Can you please, apologies. Can you repeat the question? I didn't get it initially.
I said, what do you have to say about parents who assume the child will forget about the trauma that has been caused or the abuse they caused the child? What do you have to say about it? You know that the
I want to
children
say
really
they should not make that
forget.
mistake. They shouldn't make that mistake. You see, some like when I was growing up, I was a quiet person. So at times, when you do something that hurts me, I'll just keep it to myself. I'll keep it to myself. I'll keep it, and then I'll just assume it's gone. But a day will come. You do something very simple, and it's going to blow up. So I want to say that they shouldn't make that mistake. They should not assume that it's forgotten, it's swept under the carpet. Instead, I want to suggest that they should try and, because you see, there's a point in the child's life where their reaction and their reaction will let you know that what's wrong? Why is he behaving like this? Why is he honestly quiet? Why doesn't he want to talk to anybody? I think it's expedient that parents ask questions. They need to, like we usually say in the child protection speech, be a friend to your children because of people pass on. So I think it's expedient they learn to find out what, and you see, when things go wrong between you and your children, don't just assume that is the end of the story. Find out what is, let them talk to them about it. Because you see, it is possible they fight back immediately, and it's possible they keep it for the future. Now that's what I put it. When they keep it for the future, they will just explode someday, and it might be disastrous. So I would say, parents, don't assume they are forgotten. Make sure you check the record. Make sure you set the record straight. If you need to tell them why you did it, when you did it, you will do well to do that. And tell them you've learned your lesson. If you need to apologize, apologize. You've learned your lesson. It's not going to repeat itself. Because what other problem is it? The child may not fight their parents directly, but they will take that frustration and vent it on somebody else or their own children. I say, why you think my father said it? And then the innocent child become a victim of what they don't even know about. So my counsel is parents, please don't keep it under the carpet. Settle the issue before we move on.
So there's a point where for parents who have adult children have hurt them. In fact,
Mm,
it's recommended that parents should sit their children down and discuss. When you were growing up, I did this, I did that. How did you feel, right? Is that
yes,
what you are saying?
that's what I'm saying.
Because
It's expedient.
one of the reasons why we're having this conversation is to break cycles of abuse. You know, when children are abused and they grow up with that trauma,
Mm,
they carry that trauma on to the next generation. So
yeah, that's
there's a
true.
point where parents need to sit their children down, even though they are older children, they are now adult children, and discuss issues that happened
Mm,
years back and say, okay, at this point I got it wrong. We need to make up and
mm,
there's nothing wrong
yeah.
with parents apologizing to their children.
There's
It's
something
part
wrong
of
with it.
us to break that cycle of that trauma
Mm,
so that it don't repeat itself. So I want to ask you now, looking back as an adult now, how did those experience of
Mm.
comparison, emotional abuse, name calling? How did it affect you, your confidence, your relationship, your decision making, and your mental health? In what way did those experiences affected you, your confidence, your relationship as an individual, how you relate with people, and then how did your network is not really helping us today. Network,
Mm.
please help us. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I think I had a bit of what you said.
So I
Okay,
said
let
that
me
in
try and
what
answer
way
it.
you are a bit too close to the camera actually. I want to see your face.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to see.
How did it affect my
Yes, your
decision making process?
emotionally in your relationship life, in your decision making and your emotional well-being. In what way did those experiences affect you? Did you think in your
Well,
growing up,
initially,
did you
I
affect?
was not very friendly. Initially, I was not very friendly. Initially, I locked it into myself. And I mean, it affected a lot. Yeah, so people felt I was snobbish, I was a loner, I was a sadist, and stuff like that. So initially, I was not given to friendship as it were. I really wanted to avoid so much of the public space. And then, um, I mean, that was the emotional aspect, and it informed my decision. Part of the decision it informed was that number one, I will not invite, unlike my younger ones. My younger ones brought all their friends home, so my parents knew their friends early enough. But they don't know any of my friends because I will not bring it to my house. I was not cordial enough to see you as a provocation I'll just start. So, and a lot of my friends felt, oh, this guy is a devil, something wrong with him, and so on and so forth. So that really affected
You actually lost
they
your.
were like scars, but for me, I decided to turn those scars into stuff. For me, I decided to look because it's what I
So we actually lost you. We can't hear you. Wow. So we're actually having network glitches here. Um, Apologies for this. So it will be back soon.
think. The child is like, I'm
Thank
useless
you.
and they want to talk. So for
So,
me,
Mr.
yes.
Yinka, we lost you for a while. We
Oh my
lost you for a
God.
while. We didn't
Oh,
hear.
oh yeah, yeah,
So sorry about that. So we're
yeah.
trying to ask, how did those experience affect you emotionally and how you were building your relationship
Yeah.
and your emotional well-being?
Yeah,
How did it
I got your
affect you?
question.
I know you have said a lot. We
Yeah.
missed you.
Yeah, I, I became a loner. Let me start from there. I was not willing to socialize with anybody because I believe that I usually say this thing then. If you greet me, it's your problem. If you don't greet me, it's always your problem. That was the mindset. So I didn't want to live with them. I didn't want to. In fact, my parents would say he's not just interested. But it was born out of those experiences. I don't want to talk to anybody because I don't want it to hurt me again. Because like I said, when I was hurt, then I could not fight back. But not if it comes to my face, I'm going to speak it back at you. So I was always avoiding that. And for a while, it was not very healthy for my social interaction. My emotions were hurt. I was wounded. But like I said, over time, the healing came. But you see, what I want to say before I stop there is that it's it's not always the same for everyone. Many people will never recover from it. That is why It's either we avoid it or we correct it at the start. Not assume, well, I can't apologize to you now. You should know that you also mess up. No, let's set because the child might become a life this I could degenerate some other crime, also vices. So that's my take.
As a matter of fact, what you are saying, if somebody grew up with abuse or no trauma, now if most adults, we have a lot of people who say, oh, they are married to narcissistic spouse. These are some of the causes that leads to all of these dysfunctional habits in relationship. Some people become have toxic relationship, have intimate partner violence relationship, narcissistic relationship. Some people have become very toxic colleagues at workplaces, neighbors that cannot be tolerated. It's because of all this emotional abuse that happens in childhood. So I want to also ask this question now when we talk about physical abuse, people it's physical, we see the scar on the child. Now but emotional abuse is always hidden, is hard to identify. Why do you think constant comparison can be damaging to a child development? Because
Like I
this
said
particular
earlier,
abuse is always, people don't know, we assume it's not happening, or we just assume, oh, I'm the mother, I can talk to the child anyhow, I'm the father, I can talk to the child anyhow. So why do you think it's so damaging to child's development?
because of our time, I'll just use a story to just give you an insight. Just a little bit of the story. I was told that two sisters, when they were young, there was that comparison crisis. The older was the best, and the father even went as far as saying that you, the younger one, you are useless. The older one is more academically sound. She's going to be a doctor, but the younger one, you are just there. Meanwhile, this younger one was good at cooking, but they were not seeing that part of her. You know what happened? When both ladies grew up, the doctor married a person, she got married, she got a good home. The younger one also got married, but she never got started like that. You know what she did? She plotted a sister's off, got pregnant for that one, and to her it was like a payback time. Now, the comparison was when they were children, but it was so damaging to her that she felt, I'm so useless. They don't believe in me. My father never believed. Rude. The home was rude, and a lot of it became a major family crisis. So, looking at that story, I will say that it is very dangerous because yes, the child might miraculously recover from it, but it's not always the case. There's what we call I will show them tomorrow. So the manifestation of the crisis might not be now, but there might be a payback time. There are times when it is there. When someone takes the other person's life because of not because of what the person did, but when you were young, maybe they said you are better. Now save yourself. So I think it's very damaging, and we should fight against it. That's my take.
Thank you so much for that. Now, one thing others parents also need to know that if children don't learn to love themselves as children, when they grow up and you are now old, taking care of you will be very difficult. I've known families where a particular child was preferred against other children when they were now old, and the parents, when they were now adults and parents were old, they didn't come together to take care of that woman. It was outsiders that are not that woman's children that took care of her in old age. So when we compare children, we actually damaging their relationship, damaging their self-esteem, damaging the person they will even marry in the future. We are damaging their future. We are damaging a lot of things about them. So we should avoid comparison of children. It's very, because there's normally there's what we call sibling rivalry. Every sibling will rival, but we should not now be the ones to contribute to them not even
That's
loving each
correct.
other. So that's very important. So if you have been watching us to this extent and you have not subscribed to this channel, so go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and share with other parents, because every parent needs to understand this discussion we are having today. A lot of parents are guilty of comparing children, and that is very damaging. And we should understand that when you compare children, you are not doing them any better. You are not motivating any of them. In fact, the person you are even favoring may not even like you. I watched a movie recently. There was the older child was maltreated a lot. A gay group were now fighting for their older one, even though they hated their older sister. They were not ready to even support their mom. They were like, you won't treat me the way you treated our older sister, because they were already hurted, they were already traumatized. You are trying to favor them, but you are also traumatizing them. So favoring a child against another child or comparing children can be very, very damaging, and we should be careful. So what message do you have for parents? Because yeah, I know you have limited time, and I wouldn't want to keep you too long. What message do you have for parents? When many parents compare children without intending to, they didn't really mean to harm them. What would you like every parent listening today to understand about long-term effect of comparison of children?
Well, I want to say this. One thing you cannot take away from parents is the fact that inside every parental heart, there is a possibility that there's a preference for one child over the other. You can't take that away from them. But my first counsel is parents, please don't show it. Don't let the other know that, oh, that they like this one over this one. Number one. And number two, when, as much as possible, if you made that mistake, please find a way of correcting them, because every child, every child gets their meaning from the way their parents have started. So if you tell a child you're not as good as your siblings, there's a possibility they keep that for the rest of their life. And my daddy said, my mom said, so there's nothing anybody will tell me I am not good. So I want to say, parents, please don't compare them. Remember, they are not the same. God made them differently. They are wonderfully made. They have their uniquenesses. Discover their uniqueness and celebrate them. Now, correct their excesses. Even the preferred one have excesses too. So correct their excesses when there is a need for that, in love and in understanding. But on no account should you make one thing less important than the other. It can be a time bomb waiting to explode.
That's very powerful. Parents, don't compare children. Don't they are uniquely different. All each of them have their unique potential. They have where they are good at, and all of them are not also that perfect. So because the child is good at what you love, maybe the child is good at homekeeping or house chores, you prefer that child because when you call, the child can quickly do things. Or one child is coming home with the best results, and you feel, oh, this child is better. Every child is uniquely different, and we should all understand that. So now, what message do you have for adults who are still traumatized due to childhood comparison? What message do you have for them? I would
Please,
like you to share your own
first,
healing
I want to
journey.
tell you
How
this.
did you heal from
Yeah.
your trauma? And then also adults who are there. Some adults live with this for years and eventually start hurting their spouses and their children. So, what message do you have for this adults?
Well, my number one message is forgive the past. Because you see, you have your life ahead of you. Let me tell you something. Every coin is two-sided. There's a side of the coin that reminds you of where you're coming from. But there's a side of it that tells you you still have a whole lot to live for. So what I would say, it might be difficult. It wasn't easy for me to, but you see, there's a place of making up your mind. Because you see, if you dwell in your past, you will be sunk in your past. Now, you either choose, okay, I don't mind, I want to die remain, or I want to see, is there hope on the other side of the coin? So for me, I want to say, number one, forgive the past. Because you see, if you remain in your own past, you will die in your own past. But there's a future for you. Look at it. For instance, what are you personally good at that nobody celebrates you? But you know you're good at it. Pick on it, start working on it. You see that the sky is your starting point. So for me, forgive the past, act like the past never. Now, don't assume it's not there, it's there, but act like it never happened. Like someone said, wipe the slate clean and move on. You see, with time, you get to a point where you are happy to talk about your past in a constructive manner. You will judge the wrong, but you say, well, this is me today. So my point is, forgive the past, look at the other side of the coin, celebrate something about it that nobody is celebrating. It's a question of time. They will celebrate you for what you celebrate yourself for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the takeaway is forgive your past,
Past.
forgive your parents, forgive yourself. You can't hold on to your
Mm,
past forever because the past is lesser than the future. So forgive your
yes.
past. Of course, don't pretend it never happened. You have to actually acknowledge that it actually happened. You were hurt, and you really deserve to heal. So for those that are joining this channel for the first time, go to the channel. I have discussed a lot about trauma, how to heal, how to start your healing journey, and a lot about childhood abuse and all of that. So go to the channel and watch it. Make sure you like this channel, subscribe to the our channel, and share this video with somebody who, of course, with a parent or an auntie or a teacher, somebody who has a child around them. And this channel is, of course, for us to build healthy families, healthy relationship, raise children that grow in healthy environment so that we can have a safe society. So in closing, if you could go back to your childhood and speak to your younger self, that child who was constantly compared, what would you say? What would you likely, what would you like every parent and caregiver watching to remember after today's conversation?
I speak to that child and I say this to you. The reason why you are wallowing in that abuse is because you have not seen the other side of the coin. If I knew the other side of the coin was what it is today, I probably wouldn't feel so bad about the abuse. So I want to say to you, you see, the moment of the abuse is not the end of your story. There's a glory beyond your present story. So let the moment go. Like your parents have learned their lessons now. You too learn your lessons. Pick up your life. Just move on. We just be encouraged in yourself. Encourage yourself by yourself. That's the starting point. And you see, it's a question of time. You soon see the other side of the story, which is the glory you're looking for. So don't die before your glory. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chaplain Major Olayinka Olorunkosebi. We thank you so much for attending this conversation. I've learned a lot from you, and I know our viewers have learned a lot. So what we've discussed so far is comparison and parenting. A lot of parents compare children, and honestly speaking, it is not good when you compare children. Remember when I was much younger, I had our first daughter, very hardworking. She's so hardworking, honestly, I celebrate her. But she could do a lot. I was a middle child. Of course, no middle child children always hide. So when she went to higher institution, my mommy would always say, if it was your sister, she would do this. If it was, one day I told her, see, that my sister will come and do all the work in the house. I know you're not my mother. I changed it for her. I know you're my mother. You have to get my mother for me. And we actually sorted it out there and then. And I think she adjusted. Some children will never outgrow the abuse. Some children will never outgrow the abuse. And if listening to this conversation today, you realize that somehow you have hurt your children or a particular child. And one thing I want to tell you, that when you are comparing children, don't think you are only hurting one particular one. You need to call all of them together. The one you are favoring and the one that was not favored. And apologize. Parents need to know that you can also apologize to your children. So I want to ask you a question if you are as a viewer or if you are participating in this conversation. Have you ever been compared to your siblings or or cousins? How did it make you feel? I would like to hear from you on the comment section. How did comparison make you feel as a child? Then as parents, have you ever caught yourself comparing your child to another person? If yes, share. What lesson have you learned from watching this conversation today? Then what is one thing you would do differently after today's conversation? We'd like to hear from you. If this conversation has been very, very impactful for you, it has for me. And this channel, what we discuss majorly is on child protection, parenting, healthy relationship, family building. And I believe today's conversation has been very, very rewarding. And we hope to see you join this conversation again next Sunday, 7 p.m. Remember that every healed child becomes a healthy adult, and every healthy adult builds a healthy community. So let's choose healing. Let's choose to be different. So join me next week as we come together again. So Chaplain Major Olayinka, we really appreciate you so much for joining this
Thank you.
conversation. We've learned a lot from you, and we will hope to see you again when next we ask you to come for the conversation in this channel. All right, thank you so much. So
Thank
we
you.
want to make this channel reach 500 subscriber before the end of July. So subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share with other parents who will benefit from this conversation, and teachers as well. Anybody who has something to do with a child needs this conversation. So thank you for watching. See you next week,
Thank
and have
you.
a wonderful. Bye.